You have spoken fear over your future long enough. You have cursed your reflection with doubt and carried words in your mouth that were never meant for your greatness. But what if the power to change your entire life isn't in someone else's hands, but in your own mouth? There is a door inside of you, a door not made of wood or iron, but of possibility. And the key to that door is not held in the hands of the world, not resting in the pockets of power or fame or fortune. No, beloved, the key has been with you all along. It lives behind your lips, it rests upon your tongue. The words you speak, especially to yourself, are the very architects of your becoming. You don't have to wait for life to give you permission to change. You don't need someone else to unlock your freedom. You have already been granted a power far greater than circumstance, the power of your voice. What you say, you shape. What you declare, you draw near. What you speak consistently, you begin to live. But most people are unaware of this sacred power. They speak carelessly, unconsciously, allowing fear to build the framework of their lives. I can't. I'm not good enough. This always happens to me. These aren't just complaints or expressions of frustration. They are blueprints. Every time you utter words laced with doubt, defeat, or despair, you are placing bricks in a wall that separates you from your divine potential. And over time, those bricks become too heavy to climb. Transformation doesn't begin in the doing, it begins in the declaring. It doesn't begin in the hustle, it begins in the word. Before any action is taken, before any plan is made, the Spirit must speak. You must proclaim who you are becoming long before the world sees it. You must speak the life you wish to live before the evidence shows up. That is the power of a creative tongue. That is the miracle of a mind that knows how to command itself. Your tongue is not simply for communication, it is for creation. It is a paintbrush dipped in the colors of your thoughts. Every phrase is a stroke on the canvas of your future. Speak poverty, and you will find lack everywhere. Speak fear, and you will walk in shadows. Speak unworthiness, and you will settle for crumbs when the table was always yours. But speak life, speak worth, speak healing, speak direction, and watch the atmosphere shift. Watch doors appear where walls once stood. Watch opportunities find you, not because the world changed, but because you did. The tongue is small, but it holds dominion. It can either be your greatest prison or your liberation. Most people are fluent in self-criticism, but tongue-tied when it's time to affirm themselves. They recite every mistake, but cannot remember their own power. And so they live muted lives, not because they were born without greatness, but because they never spoke it aloud. Speak blessings upon yourself. Speak purpose over your days. Speak love into the parts of you still healing. Look in the mirror and say what no one else ever told you. You are worthy, you are enough, you are chosen, you are rising. Don't wait for applause to give yourself permission to grow. Don't wait for someone else to see you before you recognize yourself. Use your tongue to speak the future into being. Every day you rise, you are given another chance to rewrite your story. Not by force, not by begging the world to change, but by changing the script in your own mouth. You don't need to fake perfection. You need to claim transformation. You need to remind your mind that it serves the words you speak, that your environment is merely an echo chamber reflecting back the power or poverty of your inner dialogue. So speak wisely, speak intentionally, speak as if your words are sacred spells, because they are. Speak as if you are the author of your existence, because you are. And understand, truly understand, that when you master your tongue, you begin to master your life. We are born into a world that tells us who we are before we ever learn to speak. And for many of us, those early labels become internal scripts we never chose, but somehow adopted. Too loud, too quiet, not enough, too much. These words, often spoken casually or carelessly by others, sink into our skin like dye and fabric. And over time, if we're not mindful, we begin to repeat them. Not because they are true, but because they have been spoken enough to sound like truth. You see, the most dangerous words are not the ones someone else throws at you. They are the ones you begin to whisper to yourself when no one is watching. The ones you repeat silently in the mirror. The ones you utter under your breath when you make a mistake. I'm so stupid. I'll never be enough. Of course I messed that up. These phrases may seem harmless, but they are not. They are not casual. They are not meaningless. They are the quiet poison we swallow daily, and with each repetition, they become belief, and belief shapes everything. What you speak over yourself, you eventually begin to accept as fact. Your brain listens, your body listens, your soul listens, and over time, your life bends in the direction of those repeated words. If you constantly declare that you are unworthy, your choices will reflect that belief. You'll settle for less, not because you couldn't have had more, but because you spoke less into your life until you believed it was all you deserved. If you constantly say you're bad with money, you'll subconsciously avoid growth, resist financial wisdom, and sabotage opportunities. Why? Because your inner identity doesn't align with anything different. And this truth works both ways. Just as negative self-talk can ruin the garden of your becoming, positive declarations can nourish it. When you wake up and say, I am capable, you start walking differently. You start showing up to rooms with a quiet confidence that doesn't need to prove itself. When you say, I am deserving of love, you stop chasing people who treat you like an afterthought. When you speak life into your future, even if nothing around you has changed, something within you begins to. The power isn't in the perfection of the words, it's in the repetition. It's in the willingness to speak something beautiful over yourself, even on the days you don't feel beautiful. It's in the discipline to speak joy, even when sorrow is near. The words don't have to match your current circumstances. They have to match your vision. Speak according to where you are going, not where you've been. You don't need to be loud. You don't need to be dramatic. You need to be consistent. Each time you bless yourself with truth, you are shifting the rhythm of your inner world. You are softening the grip of past wounds and creating space for new realities. Most people wait to feel confident before speaking like they are, but the feeling doesn't come first. The declaration does. You train your heart by speaking what it has forgotten. You train your future by affirming what is not yet visible. The words don't lie when they reach beyond the pain and speak directly to the promise. So the question becomes, what have you been speaking over yourself lately? Are you planting flowers or feeding weeds? Are you prophesying your power or repeating your pain? Your voice is the most consistent sound your spirit hears. Choose it with intention. Speak not from fear, but from vision. Not from the memory of failure, but from the knowing of who you are still becoming. Because eventually, what you speak over yourself, you begin to believe. There are some things in this life that do not shout, but they shape everything they touch. A whisper can start a war. A phrase can birth a future. And a single word spoken with intention can either bless or break a soul. Words are not just sounds, they are seeds. And every seed carries within it the potential of an entire forest. What you speak, you plant. What you repeat, you water. What you believe, you harvest. And this truth begins at home within your own heart. Every word you speak over yourself is either nurturing your becoming or choking it. Every time you say, I can't, you're burying your potential under the soil of fear. Every time you say, this is just the way I am, you are fencing in your growth with walls made of resignation. But every time you say, I am learning, you're placing a seed of grace in the earth. Every time you whisper, I am worthy, you are setting a root of possibility that will push up through the hardest ground. People forget that the universe listens most closely to what you say about you. We spend years hoping someone else will speak life into us, a parent, a partner, a preacher, a friend. And while encouragement from others is a beautiful thing, it cannot replace the sacred assignment of blessing yourself, because no one else walks in your shoes. No one else wrestles with your private thoughts. No one else sees your tears at midnight or feels your quiet hopes rise each morning. And so it is your responsibility, your gift, your power to speak what you need to hear, to plant the words your spirit needs to bloom. This is not vanity. This is not arrogance. This is soul stewardship. When you wake up and declare, "Today I choose peace," that is not fantasy. That is sowing peace into your atmosphere. When you look in the mirror and say, "I am more than my mistakes," you are planting redemption. When you speak kindness into your reflection instead of criticism, you are sowing a harvest of healing that will reach places within you. No therapist, no sermon, no relationship ever could. And don't be fooled by silence. Just because the seed doesn't sprout in a day doesn't mean it's not working. Some seeds stay hidden for a season. Some promises take time to rise. The blessing you speak over yourself today might not show up tomorrow, but it is at work beneath the surface. It is shifting your thoughts. It is rewiring your confidence. It is strengthening your resolve. It is attracting new energies, new people, new paths. Your words are working long after you speak them. That is the sacred nature of seed speech. But here is the thing about planting. You must be consistent. A gardener does not plant one seed and call it a garden. You must speak blessings not just once, not just on Sundays, not just when you feel good. You must bless yourself on the hard days, on the broke days, on the lonely days. When nothing looks like progress, you speak it anyway. When everything around you screams failure, you whisper victory. Because faith is not in what you see, it's in what you sow. Speak to your body with compassion. Speak to your mind with tenderness. Speak to your future with courage. If you speak life long enough, life begins to echo it back. The winds change, the ground softens, the soul opens. And before you know it, what you once hoped for begins to bloom where the curse used to live. You begin to walk differently. You carry yourself with reverence. You expect goodness. You see blessings in places where you once only saw burden, because now you understand words are seeds and blessings spoken are blessings planted. Before the world ever echoes your worth, you must whisper it into your own bones. You must become the voice that steadies you when the noise outside grows too loud to bear. Because here's what so many never realize. The world is not responding to your noise. It is responding to your energy. It is responding to what you believe you are worth. And that belief, beloved, is shaped not by what others say about you, but by what you say about you. When you wake up and say, "I am tired of trying," the world will reflect fatigue. When you wake up and say, "Nothing ever works out for me," don't be surprised when doors stay shut and blessings feel delayed. That is not punishment, it is alignment. The universe, your spirit, your very cells, they are always listening. They follow the rhythm of your inner dialogue. If you are whispering fear, it becomes your soundtrack. If you are whispering rejection, you will walk into rooms already prepared to be ignored, and you will call it reality, not realizing it was born from a whisper you gave power to over and over again. You see, your inner voice is not just commentary, it is command. And like water shaping stone over time, the world molds itself around the words you say most often to yourself. People will treat you the way you subconsciously tell them to. Opportunities will gravitate toward the confidence you radiate or retreat from the self-doubt you carry in your posture. Even in silence, your self-talk speaks volumes. But here's the truth most overlook. This is not a curse, it is a power. You are not helpless. You are not bound to your past thinking. If your world reflects your whispers, then change the whisper. Alter the sound within, and the world cannot help but adjust its echo. If you begin to say, I am worthy of love, you will stop chasing those who treat your love like an option. If you begin to say, I am capable, you will stop shrinking in rooms where you were always meant to shine. If you begin to whisper, I am chosen, life will begin to align with that choosing. Not because it changed, but because you did. The world is a mirror with ears. It listens before it reflects. So what are you saying when no one else is around? What phrases have you allowed to become your mantras? What loops play on repeat in the quiet hours of your day? So many carry old recordings in their minds, words from childhood, heartbreaks, failures, and though the faces are gone, the whispers remain, and the more they are repeated, the more they take root. The more they are entertained, the more they become reality. You must become a guardian of your inner language. You must speak to yourself as if you are sacred, because you are. You must whisper strength into your scars. You must declare joy even while walking through sorrow, not because the sorrow isn't real, but because it does not deserve to shape the totality of your narrative. When you begin to whisper peace, even chaos cannot hold you long. When you begin to whisper, I am healing, even pain must loosen its grip. Do not wait for applause to validate your growth. Do not wait for someone to say you're enough before you believe it. Speak it. Whisper it. Shout it if you must, because the world will only ever be as kind to you as you are to yourself. Not because it's cruel, but because it is listening to you. It is waiting on you. And whether you whisper love or fear, power or limitation, it will echo accordingly. So choose your whisper with care. Choose it with reverence. Speak to yourself as you would a beloved child, as you would someone you are determined to see rise, because eventually that is exactly what you will do. There will come days when the phone does not ring, when no hand reaches for yours, when the world forgets your name and your worth seems invisible in the eyes of those around you. There will be seasons where support is scarce and encouragement feels like a language no one speaks anymore. And in those moments, when silence settles in and loneliness starts knocking on your door, you must remember this truth. You have always held the power to bless yourself. Blessing yourself is not a performance. It is not vanity. It is not some act of empty affirmation. It is sacred work. It is choosing to become the well you've been waiting to drink from. Because when no one is watching, when no one is clapping, when no one sees the struggle you carry with silent grace, you must be the one to speak light over your own shadow. You must become your own sanctuary, your own shelter, your own song. Start before the day pulls you apart. Before the world makes demands of you, bless your breath, bless your bones, bless your broken places. Speak to your soul like it is a friend that needs your attention. Whisper, you're still here, and that's enough. Look into the mirror and say what you've needed to hear since you were a child. You're worthy. You're growing. You're strong, even if no one else claps for your strength. Because here's the thing. Most people won't see the effort you give to simply stay afloat. They won't notice the battle it takes to rise from your bed, to choose hope again, to believe again after disappointment. But you know what it costs to keep going. And for that alone, you deserve to be blessed. Do not wait for others to call you beautiful before you recognize the light you carry. Do not wait for applause to validate your journey. That is borrowed confidence, and it will always leave you starving. Build your own table, light your own candles. Speak over your life as if every word is a brick in the house you are building with faith. Bless yourself in the moments you feel overlooked. When your inbox is empty, bless your name anyway. When your effort goes unnoticed, bless your grind anyway. When your kindness is taken for granted, bless your heart for still choosing softness in a hard world. Because the truth is, not everyone has the capacity to see you clearly. Some people are too consumed by their own noise to recognize your melody. That doesn't mean you stop singing. That means you sing louder in private. You become the choir you never had. You write hymns with your breath. You raise your own hallelujah. And here is where the power lies. When you bless yourself daily, you teach the world how to treat you. You raise the standard. You change your frequency. You stop tolerating what dishonors your spirit, because someone who speaks life over themselves does not easily settle for situations that drain them. Someone who blesses themselves every morning walks with a quiet authority that says, I am not here to be diminished. This blessing, it doesn't need to be grand. It can be simple, a whispered reminder, a journaled prayer, a moment of stillness before the noise begins. Let it be a practice, a rhythm, a ritual. Bless your ideas even if no one else sees their worth yet. Bless your body even if it aches or carries the weight of memory. Bless your past not because it was painless, but because you survived it. Bless your present because you are still becoming. And when the days are long, when the weariness lingers, bless yourself again, especially then, especially when you're tired, especially when no one says it. You are the one who must declare over your life what you are growing into. You are the one who must plant the words that will bloom into your next becoming. You are the one who must say day by day, breath by breath, I am blessed, I am worthy, I am rising. There is a quiet courage in standing before your reflection and choosing to speak life. Not the kind of life that shouts for attention or demands the room to see it, but the kind that whispers with reverence, with gentleness, and with truth.